Terence Crawford's bold claim that beating Canelo Alvarez would secure him a top 3 spot on the all-time pound-for-pound list has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. But let's be real, does one big win against an aging Canelo really erase a career filled with limited elite competition? Fans aren't buying it. Many believe Crawford is out of touch with boxing history, overlooking legendary fighters who built their legacies by battling the best, not cherry-picking the biggest. Payday. His confidence is undeniable, but is he setting himself up for the biggest reality check of his career? The real question is, does Crawford truly believe he's one of the greatest? Or is this just another attempt to hype up a fight that critics already see as a money grab? Unlike past legends who fought killers in every division they touched, Crawford's resume is still missing multiple defining fights. Sure, taking on Canelo is a big step, but skipping over tough competition at 154 and 160 raises doubts. If he wins, will history view it as a masterful victory or just good timing against a declining champion? Crawford is gambling with his legacy, and come fight night, the truth will be revealed in the ring. Terence Crawford's recent statement about beating Canelo Alvarez and securing a top 3 spot on the all-time pound-for-pound list has sparked intense debate among boxing fans. Many believe that Crawford is out of touch with the sport's history, overestimating his achievements, and failing to recognize the legendary fighters who came before him. Fans argue that simply defeating Canelo isn't enough to place him among the greatest of all time, as past legends built their legacies by consistently facing and defeating top-tier competition. Unlike those icons, Crawford's resume is considered weak, with only a few notable wins to his name. The idea that one victory over Canelo could suddenly push him ahead of fighters who spent their careers dominating elite opponents seems unrealistic to many fans and boxing analysts. Some fans believe that Crawford's knowledge of boxing history is limited, as he rarely references fighters beyond Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. This has led many to question whether he truly understands what it takes to be ranked among the greatest. Fighters who are considered legends didn't just rely on 1 or 2 big fights to cement their legacy. They faced the best of their era, repeatedly, sometimes moving up in weight, sometimes taking on dangerous fights with serious risk and proving themselves over and over again. Crawford, on the other hand, has largely avoided those types of challenges throughout his career. While moving up multiple weight classes to face Canelo is an impressive challenge, it doesn't automatically place him in the top 3 of all time. The greatest fighters in history didn't just have 1 or 2 big wins. They dominated elite competition throughout their entire careers. That's what separates legends from great fighters, and it's why many boxing experts don't see Crawford as belonging in the same category as past greats. Even if Crawford pulls off a historic win against Canelo, many fans and analysts argue that his overall resume remains thin compared to legendary fighters. Yes, he has an undefeated record and a victory over Errol Spence, but beyond that, his list of elite opponents is short. In contrast, past legends took on, and often defeated, a long line of world-class fighters, proving their greatness over time. Many of boxing's all-time greats fought and beat multiple Hall of Famers, sometimes in multiple divisions, taking on the best available competition year after year. Crawford has yet to do that, and even if he beats Canelo, that alone won't erase the fact that he's fought relatively weak opposition for most of his career. Beating one great fighter doesn't put him in the top 3 all time. It takes a career filled with defining fights, something Crawford simply doesn't have. Confidence is important for any fighter, but there's a fine line between self-belief and delusion. Crawford's high self-rating has been a topic of discussion for years, but until now, many ignored it because he had yet to face truly elite competition. Now, with Canelo seen as a fighter more focused on big paydays than chasing legacy-defining fights, some question whether this matchup is as significant as Crawford claims. If he wins, will it truly elevate him to legendary status? Or will fans continue to debate his place in boxing history? Many believe that Crawford's legacy will still be incomplete unless he consistently faces and defeats top-tier competition. A single win over Canelo, while impressive, won't erase years of avoiding major challenges. Until Crawford builds a resume that rivals the true greats, his claim to a top 3 spot in boxing history will remain a highly debated and controversial topic. Another factor working against Crawford's all-time ranking is the timing of his fight with Canelo. While Alvarez remains one of the biggest names in boxing, he is not the same fighter who dominated the sport in his prime. Many fans believe Canelo is now more focused on securing massive paydays than proving himself against the most dangerous challengers. If Crawford were facing a peak Canelo, the fight would hold greater significance in terms of legacy. However, with Canelo's recent performances showing signs of decline, some argue that this matchup may not carry the same weight historically. If Crawford wins, skeptics will claim he beat a fading version of Canelo rather than the unstoppable force he once was. This perception could make it difficult for Crawford to receive the respect he desires from boxing historians. Additionally, Crawford's reluctance to take on legitimate threats at 160 or 168 before fighting Canelo raises further doubts about his ability to compete at a higher weight class. Most fighters who move up in weight test themselves against solid contenders before jumping straight into a championship fight. Crawford, however, appears to be skipping that crucial step, leading some to question whether he truly believes he can compete at super middleweight. Instead of fighting dangerous opponents at 154 or 160 to prove he belongs in the division, he has opted to go straight for the payday against Canelo. While this strategy makes sense from a financial standpoint, it does little to build his credibility as an all-time great. Fans and analysts want to see him earn his way into these big fights, rather than simply skipping levels for a cash grab. Ultimately, Crawford's fight against Canelo will be a defining moment in his career, but it won't single-handedly place him among the all-time greatest fighters. If he wants to solidify his legacy, he must continue taking on the best available opponents and prove himself against multiple elite fighters at higher weight classes. One great win does not make a fighter an all-time legend. It takes years of dominance against top-tier competition. If Crawford truly believes he belongs in the conversation with the greatest of all time, he needs to build a resume that reflects that ambition. Otherwise, his claim to a top 3 pound-for-pound spot will remain nothing more than an opinion rather than an undeniable fact.